there's two people out there that could be starting an incredible motorsport career and really taking that next step.
What I wanted to do was take them out of their comfort zone, because now it throws them in the deep end. They shouldn't be here if they're not taking it seriously.
The drive in ROKitflix F4 for next year is worth £450,000.
Looks once again to the inside and commits to it on the inside into Whitefield. That is brave move from Emma Wrigley.
Those sort of opportunities don't come around all too often, unfortunately.
Missed out by 1,000th of a second.
I just threw away my entire future.
I've never wanted something so much for him in my entire life. He needs this because it's the only thing he has.
We are here in the broadcast center in Kemptal in Switzerland.
The purpose of race control is to have as clean as possible racing.
As we get underway for one final time, as they're all away nice and clean. Oh, there's been a good contact. He's already been sent around in the background.
The latest esports and the simulators you can actually have in your own home are becoming so real that it's not a bad place to start. Formula 4 is the starting point to get you on the ladder towards Formula 1.
We're seeing superstars being made for the future. It's incredible.
Previously on Racing Star, Deegan Fairclough and Monica Bolton-Ramos won the sim finals at the University of Bolton and have started training to become real world racers. They've tested in less powerful equipment. Now it's time for them to experience a Formula 4 car, the very machines they'll be making their race debuts in just a few short months' time. Their first test would be at the Snetterton circuit in Norfolk. This would not only be their first time in the F4 car, but also the first time on a busy track with the other F4 championship contenders. It's also where they would meet the JHR team, the people that will be running them through the rest of the testing and into the championship. But conditions were far from ideal.
Yeah, it was definitely very tricky conditions. It will be raining next year, so it is something to get used to, just maybe not on the first day.
It's like a rocket on some tyres and you're just flying, and as soon as you get onto the dry bit of the track it's just ripped instantly, so it's just unbelievably quick. That's all I can say. It's just so fun, so we're doing some proper testing and trying to get the experience and learn for next year.
This afternoon my aims are to get them more comfortable, get them up to speed, particularly Monaco. It'll be her first time in slicks on the dry, and with Deegan I really do think now that we're on dry ground and everything's the same, I think he's probably going to push the car to its limits and hopefully be on pace. Really at the end of the day, if I ask them, have you learned a lot today, the aim is for them always to say yes.
The afternoon was far better. The sun appeared and slowly dried the track, finally allowing them a chance to experience the true potential of the car.
And then you can go here to here, nothing, no difference. Same amount of turn-in.
As well as giving them a flavour of what they've got to learn to deal with. Now they could start to build their confidence and hopefully see the times tumble. Deegan was sitting mid-pack, and by the end of the session, he'd knocked 3 seconds off his lap time. As for Monica, she may have finished last, but everything was going in the right direction. And she was only 4 seconds off the fastest driver there.
Definitely the afternoon was a lot better, but most importantly I've built a lot of confidence.
But yeah, if you actually take sectors, but you're about P15. Yeah, on sectors, yeah. So yeah, good, well done. That Take a bit of confidence in you. Well done.
It was just so fun. I could do so many more laps just going around.
It's been pretty much a perfect test day with the dry and wet conditions, and yeah, the afternoon has just been crazy. As soon as you whack the slicks on it, this dry track, it's just twice as fast.
British Touring Car Championship weekends are almost like a festival of motorsport that moves across the country. And an incredible place to go racing.
The British Touring Car weekend is massive. A minimum of 50,000 fans a weekend, sometimes an awful lot more. And obviously the British Touring Cars are the highlight of the weekend. The single-seater F4 Championship, the Junior Championship, is still a huge part of that.
It's a massive event. It is the biggest national racing series here in the UK, and hugely popular with the fans as well, because it's very open access. You know, you go to Formula One and everything's a bit closed off, whereas here, the championship, it's all about the fans and for the fans, so it's, you know, it's a hugely sort of entertaining racing.
It's also going to be an amazing opportunity for Deegan and Monica to start their racing careers.
What a prize. It's the dream of so many racing drivers. It's a really expensive sport. It's a difficult sport to make your way in. So to be basically given this opportunity is massive.
It doesn't happen very often at all. There's very, very few sort of scholarship programs that happen in motorsport. So for Rocket to be doing such a brilliant thing, you know, for one fantastic girl racer and boy racer is, yeah, unheard of.
There's not a driver up down this paddock in any of the support races either that wouldn't have leapt at the chance of not just a sort of funded season of racing, but all the support that's behind it as well.
For a young kid coming into a big motorsport program like that, having that pressure, all the TV commitments and everything to go along with it, that is a massive part of growing up and becoming a professional racing driver.
This is where the creme de la creme, the Formula One stars of tomorrow, are learning their trade in British F4. This is not a quiet Sunday afternoon drive with a few mates. It's a hugely competitive championship.
Louise Goodman is a vastly experienced pit reporter, and she's been passing on her knowledge of dealing with the media to Deegan and Monica.
Being fast on track is obviously the most important thing for any driver in terms of, you know, outright performance. If you don't have that element, you're never going to get anywhere. But you could be as quick as you like if you don't have the other bits that go alongside it. You've got to be super fit. You've got to be technically across what's happening with the car. You have to understand the engineering side of it. And most of all, you need to be able to have the confidence to get your personality across, because that's what we want from any racing driver. We don't want boring, bland PR machines. I did a session recently with Deegan and Monica, because they are obviously going to be in at the deep end from that perspective. You know, suddenly the media spotlight will be upon them. So giving them an understanding of how the media works is going to be able to help them to work with the media to best effect, that they can get what they want out of it. But overall, I think the bottom line is personality. We want personality. So that's what I've been doing, just to, as I say, give them a better understanding and make them feel more comfortable and give them the confidence to be themselves and get their personalities across.
The man behind this project is Bob Fernley. It was his dream to try to find a new way of encouraging racing talent into the sport without running up huge costs in the process.
It's about accessibility. How can we get the opportunity for youngsters to go racing? And we decided of pushing the boundaries to the limit and going virtual. And that's where the Racing Star programme obviously came out. When you look at the standard of it today and the way that it's moved forward, you have to say that it's a route for the future. And the question was, could we go from esports, transitioning through simulators, to track? And because not really anybody had ever done that before, especially when we're dealing with 16-year-olds. And that was the age group that we were targeting, because again, if we're going to get them for a career up to Formula One, we have to start them at that age.
However, Bob then needed to find some backing to get the project off the ground.
Bob's an incredible man, and we just got together and we hit it off, and he said, I've got this idea. And I basically said, I've got a similar idea. Why don't we do something that's similar to Pop Idol X Factor, where we can get kids that have never really been in a racing car and give a chance to a young lady and a young man to get into motor racing. And we combined the two things, and that was it, we're in.
Despite having come up with a plan, it took Motorsport UK, the sport's governing body, some time to be persuaded that this could work.
I think Hugh, I finally thought I'd lost my mind, if I'm honest with you. Were they convinced? I'm not sure. But most important thing is they gave us the opportunity and they gave us the support, which is what we needed.
I think between the two programmes, Rocket Racing Star and British F4, there's a lot of similarities, because both of them are really about talent selection and talent identification. We may well find a real new star of the future.
For Bob, the motivation behind the project came from his own upbringing in the northwest of England.
It's purely about giving back. Motor racing has given me an incredible life. It's taken me from a background when I was born in Stockport, where you'd be lucky if you could, find a reasonably fast car to go down to the shops with, never mind anything else. It's elevated my lifestyle, and I wanted to be able to share that with people, to say, look, if you're prepared to put the effort in, the sacrifice, the work, and focus, the opportunities are there for you. But you've got to be able to do that, and you've got to take those opportunities. But if you are, we're willing to help you.
Coming directly from gaming, Monica has almost no experience of racing. So it was decided the quickest way for her to gain some track knowledge would be an intensive round of kart racing to get her used to battling wheel to wheel.
A bit of a line side different than on the Dell.
Well, I've embarked on a winter training programme just to gain a bit more experience before the season starts and to race against other people in owner karts.
Monica came purely from sim racing, or a gamer as they call them, and she hasn't done a lot in terms of experience on track. So for Monica, we wanted to, let's say, condense, fast track her for the month of karting, get her that race experience. When we went to Fulbeck to start with, that was her first test in the karts. Luke Hines, who's her driver coach, was standing on the apex of corners, and we're able to really get close to the track and to see what's going on.
But what I liked is now that when you're doing the move, you're covering yourself, so you're not doing the move and then missing the corner, they're coming back at you. And then now it's focus forward, don't right back behind. When you right back behind and you overdrive, you slow yourself down, so focus point is the next one. For me, that was the best session. It wasn't the fastest time we've done today, but it was more the passing and how you sort of thinking ahead.
If we went into the F4 car to start with, it's a little bit more remote. We can't do that. We can work with data and what have you with the F4 car, but we can also work with data on karting, but it's more hands-on.
Previously, I've only ever been at one track, and obviously in F4 you're racing in lots of different tracks. So it's good to know what to look out for and how to learn braking points and things like that. Basically knowing how to drive without crashing is quite important.
It's a big learning curve for all of us. With the fitness, she needed to get so much more fitness, and with that has come much more performance as well with the car, because she's able to wrestle the car, using that physical fitness to actually drive the car a bit harder. It just all keeps building one on top of the other, and the harder she drives, the fitter she gets.
I've never driven owner cars before, never raced them. I'm a novice, which means I have to start all my heats from the back, making it slightly more difficult for me. I started 25th, dead last, made my way up to 12th, showing lap times comparable to the front runners. And the amount of preparation I've had to do as well, I've been in the gym quite a lot. I was severely underweight, so I've had to get a whole new diet, which has been a bit of a challenge, but it's completely changed my life. You can't really imagine what it's like to race, and I've never ever been close to racing like that. But yeah, hopefully, after a few tests, I'll gain more confidence and be ready for the season ahead.
During the karting, Monica picked up a slight injury, so had to rest up as Deegan continued testing in the F4 car with the JHR team.
Today we're focusing on just going out there. It's all about the build-up, the preparation, bringing the tyres in the correct way, and that will give him the all-right round package to perform at the best level.
It's not quite slick yet. It's actually spitting again now.
Should we just go out or not?
Just go and ruin these tyres.
Right. Just practice
two or three laps and then call it.
But that attitude of, should we try it? I'm like, fair play to him. I love for Deegan, because it's a completely different discipline from what he's done before. Coming in, it's kind of, you've got to switch your brain off and start again. So it's getting rid of the habits he had before and learning a new technique.
The tyres felt like they were going to explode. They were so hot because there's not much wet out there. So I was just wrecking the tyres, and then they said just carry on wrecking them. Yeah, we just ended it off with some slides at the end, which was fun.
At the end of the day, it's getting from point A to point B in the quickest way possible. And the way he was braking before was unsettling the car, where now we've gone for a slightly different technique and approach, and it's just making the car feel a little bit nicer, and by doing that he's gained a couple of tenths. He's so close out there, you are literally looking for those fine margins, and when you think over a whole lap you're literally looking for tenths of a second. But there's so much more to just thinking I want to go fast. I enjoy it when they make a mistake, because that's where you learn the most. So if he goes out and pushes too hard too soon, I'll be like, oh, fair play, but at least we know we've got to bring it back a little bit, and then you know what you've got to do to improve. So as soon as you say something once, he goes out there and tries to put it to the test straight away, which is really nice as a driver coach. With help from everyone around him, he could easily be at the front within the first few rounds.
It's not just as simple as going testing. To go racing, just like if you were driving on the road, you need a licence.
The ARDS test the advanced ARDS test, as it's actually called, is the key element to being able to be issued the licence that would allow both Deegan and Monica to enter Formula 4 and racing Formula 4. From Deegan's point of view, because he did a little bit of racing with the Fiesta programme before, he has that. So we're okay with him. From Monica's point of view, obviously we've been putting all this effort over the last 6 months or so to make sure she's ready to take that, but she has to pass it. It's that crucial.
So Monica had a very important date at the Thruxton circuit in Hampshire.
Hi.
Anna.
Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good. This is Monica.
Hello, Monica. Nice to see you. So my name's Rob. I'm one of the senior instructors here at Thruxton, here for your ARDS test today. So hopefully we're going to get you through a driver's briefing, the elements of written test and the practical test, and you'll leave here with a competition licence. That's the plan, at least. The ARDS is the Association of Racing Drivers Schools, and by passing an ARDS test in the first instance, that gives you a racing licence, and doing the advanced ARDS will give you an upgrade signature, so you can quickly upgrade from the entry-level licence to one that you'll need to do Formula 4. Okay, Monica, this is the car that we're going to do our ARDS test in. It's a front-wheel drive saloon car, so I'm going to do a couple of laps to begin with, show you around the track surface here at Thruxton, talk about the lines, talk about the nature of the corners, spotting some of the quicker ones from the slow ones. So if you jump in the passenger seat, pop your seatbelt on, we'll get going. All racing drivers, even the likes of Lewis Hamilton, have gone through this process of starting with the entry grade of competition licence, and then they upgrade it, either by doing motor races, by doing marshalling for a day, or the advanced ARDS. That serves a purpose as well. So yeah, that's what today's all about. I'll just drive around for a couple of laps just so we've got that sort of slow speed demo.
This is really the last day, let's say, of our programme. All our training that's been done, all the hard work Monica's been putting into it, and everyone else behind her. Karting program's been finished, and today's the day they will decide whether or not she is competent enough for her ARDS Advanced licence, which enables her to race in F4.
Drive at a speed.
If I don't get it, then I can't race. So it's a fairly important test I'm doing today. I'll be doing some driving on circuit and also a written test, looking at flags and safety cars. On track, there'll be, looking at my lines, my braking, but it's just a manual car, so whether I can use the clutch and use the gears or not.
It's the last piece to the puzzle, so really important. And I'm sure Monica feels a bit of that pressure, but she's been preparing and studying for the theory. I feel that she's confident enough on track. So now down to the professionals to have a look and assess her. And if she gets the go-ahead, then we're racing in F4.
To the end of this lap, so as you come through and out the chicane, stay right.
Monica's just been out with you. How has she gotten so far?
Honestly, Anna, she's good. I sit with lots of young drivers and I can tell pretty much immediately whether they've got a sense of balance, and like most young drivers, her initial steering input is a little bit busy.
Yeah.
She needs to be looking further ahead. She needs to consider the weight of the vehicle a bit more, going from a kart to a car where you've got suspension travel and momentum and more mass. She needs to have a bit more feel, but we all have that problem when we transition from one to the other.
No, that's good to hear. So Monica's had COVID. We gave her 6 weeks off until she was better, so that put us 6 weeks behind on our test programme. After that, we picked up on a zip kart intensive karting programme, racing and testing. Did really well, but within that, because she's not been out in those sort of karts before, she picked one of the standard rib injury that you get from jolting on the curbs. So again, we gave her a couple of weeks, 3 weeks off, just to get over that, for it to settle. Back into the karting, completed the programme. We're happy with what she's done.
Yeah.
She really progressed well.
And when's she next out in a car?
She'll be out in the next few weeks in an F4 car to do some testing before the first round, which is at Donington, end of this month.
Having done the practical test, it was time for the written exam. The pressure was on Monica now.
For the written test, it's a short multiple choice examination. It takes into consideration the flag signals and rules and regulations around national motorsport here in the UK. It's not a given. She's here to take a test, and people do fail. If they fail the first written paper, they take a second paper. If they fail a second paper, they're off to Motorsport UK at Bicester, where they keep a third paper and you only get 3 attempts. If she loses control, if she goes off during the driving test, yeah, that's an automatic fail. So no, it's not given. So congratulations, that's you safely through both the elements of the written test and the practical. I'll see you out on a motor racing circuit soon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The final test before their F4 debut would also be around Thruxton. This is where they would need to prove that they have gained enough track experience to go racing.
So today we've got the official test at Thruxton. Deegan's performance has been remarkable. Obviously it's been wet and dry, it's been up and down, but I think his pace and the way he's adapted and just made some great progression. It's still very early days for him in the F4 car.
I've been racing since 5, so I've got that experience, but these cars are rear-wheel drive, high speed, whereas the Fiesta was low speed, front-wheel drive. So we're just having to fine-tune the inputs to suit the F4 car and the little downforce that it has and the slick tyres.
I think today's all about improving my lap times. I'm not going to be first, but I just hope to, over the day, just improve and get more confident and trust the car.
It's been a long road since the sim finals at the University of Bolton.
He needs this because it's the only thing he has.
The training has been tough, but soon they will find out if they have done enough to get out on track. Deegan's speed was very good. However, Monaco was still off the pace. It was still showing that she had missed out on a lot of training. Her speed was improving, but was it enough? Suddenly, Deegan's confidence took a big hit. A mistake meant he was off the road, wrecking the car.
It's very disappointing. The corner's just so bumpy, and this car doesn't really go well with the bumps, so it unsettled the car, and then on the exit curb it dipped to front left, and then I become a boat and had no control and was a passenger in the incident I had. I mean, it happens, it's racing, isn't it? But I just don't want it to happen like that. Hopefully we can have our head up for the next one.
It was a nervous time for both drivers after almost 10 months of exhausting training.
It's gone well, I've improved a lot. Managed to get down to a 14.21 at the end, so I could have got a 13, but I've made a massive improvement from yesterday, 3 seconds, which is good. Pleased with the progression, but I kind of wish it was a bit faster.
She picked her quickest time in that last session just before the red flag. She was up by half a second and she came in. So we're close now in terms of the pace we liked her to be on. So I'm really pleased with her and her progress.
So we've got Donington in a few days, first time I've driven there, so it should be fun.
Hopefully we can progress and gain more time and more confidence in myself to push the limit of the car going into the first round.
Having looked at all the data and spoken to everyone involved about Monica's performance, a difficult decision needed to be taken.
It's highly likely that we will not race Monica. What we don't want to do is push her into a position where she's exposed and loses confidence, because that's the worst thing that can happen.
And the bottom line is safety, and these are young kids that we have some responsibility for. So safety was the biggest concern, and it still is today. It was a difficult decision and for Monica, but we had to make that decision with Bob to say she just wasn't quite ready. However, saying that, it now means that we're still talking to the family about carrying on when she's ready. So she hasn't lost that prize. It's just we've got to be sure she can actually manage to drive in these formulas.
Have you had that awkward conversation yet with her?
No, we've got to do that yet.
Next time, we go racing.
He wants to produce the best result he can. Only he can do that.
After months of training, this is what it's all about.
Hopefully you can make it fast enough and you be a challenge for the championship, because I genuinely think that is a possibility.
Deegan heads to Donington Park and enters his first ever race in the British Formula 4 Championship.
The only people that are actually in front of him are Year 2 drivers.
Sim racing's a bit different to real life racing. It's going to be a tough adjustment for him, but he should go good.
I'm Deegan Fairclough, the winner of the inaugural Rocket Racing Stars competition. I'm now racing in Formula 4, fully funded by Rocket. If you want a similar chance, look out for the next Rocket Racing Stars competition coming soon.